Welcome back to a very special episode of the Queer Voices Sport Podcast, where I am delighted to welcome back two previous guests and friends of the pod. We've got Kat Williams from the Cardiff Lions and Lisa Newton from Cardiff Met. Lisa, a slight meta one for you here in that you've already been on the pod, but the episode is going to come out after this one. So this is the fans' first time hearing from you on the pod, but for me, it's my second time getting to have you here.
Yes, it is, and thank you for having me again. I'm chuffed to be here to be talking about this project as well. So campaign, yeah.
So for those people that don't know, this is about the Ruck You Match that's going to take place at the IGR Union tournament in Oslo on the 1st of June. And Kat, it was your idea to reach out to me about doing a special episode of the pod, and I really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, like I say, we had such a good podcast the first time, and the response is there's only one person really wanted to get it back through. So
Thank you.
Before the mainstream media and everything hit it, it's nice to go back home really and bring the trusted people back through and report on it.
Cheers. Well, yeah, that's very kind. It's very kind. Well, I mean, I'm delighted to have the two of you back on and also to talk about this, because I think it's a really important thing that's about to happen and could genuinely be a moment of history, as we were talking before we started to record. So just a bit of context to the game. It was started by ex-England and Barbarians international Sasha Aitchison, who now coaches the LGBTQ plus inclusive Bristol Bisons. When did she first reach out to you, Kat, about it?
Well, it was through Ross at the IGR. So Ross sort of messaged me. It was just a weird text, do you fancy playing out in Oslo? And he was like, hell no. Yeah, absolutely not. But yeah, when the concept of the game was explained to me, he passed on obviously Sasha's number, and I got in touch with her from there, which is probably just over a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. So yeah, it's quite new in the pipeline.
Yeah, and I mean the match is happening on Sunday, 1st of June. So it's just over a week away now, so yeah, an incredibly tight turnaround time.
It's not far away, is it?
but in that time, it's already raised over £3,000 on the GoFundMe page, which is incredible, and all of the money from that is going to go to the Good Law Project in their fight against the Supreme Court recent ruling on the definition of a woman. Anyone listening to the podcast can go and donate to the GoFundMe page for the Ruck You Match. Just search for that and the GoFundMe page will come up. As we said, it kind of comes from that Supreme Court ruling on the definition of a woman, which was, I think, an incredibly disappointing day in the recent history of our country. Kat, are you able to just tell us a little bit about how you felt in the immediate aftermath of that decision?
Yeah, numb is probably the easiest way to describe the feelings. I mean, like when we spoke on the first podcast, my coming out was exceptional. I had so much support from the rugby community, the grassroots sides I come from, literally hundreds and hundreds of messages of support, and life was great. It really was. There was not a care in the world. I've never had an issue out. Yeah, and then suddenly, one decision changes everybody's sort of perception about you, and you're suddenly thrown into the limelight of it all, and not for good reasons either. So yeah, numb, anger. There's a lot of anger and frustration, and how can I use my position to sort of fight that cause? And then obviously the call with Sasha. So that's it. That's how I do it. So yeah.
That call from Sasha and this match, has that kind of been the main way in which you've received support from people since then, or have there been other examples of that?
No, I mean, support in life, there's no difference in life anymore. I'm just Kat, just get on with life, work, play, whatever I'm doing. It's just, I appear a bit different, but it's just normal, everyday life. There's nothing to be different about. But obviously now you're scrutinised where you go to the loo, where you go to change it. There's so many different things that never was a problem, and now suddenly it's a problem. So you've got that little bit of anxiety of what if I go there? Well, yeah, I might not do that because what if I need to use the bathroom? You know, you've got to think so much outside the box now of what's going on.
We spoke, Lisa, just over a week ago about the fact that decision is not only impacting on trans women, especially when it comes to that bathroom scenario. There's a lot of cis women who are also being negatively impacted by it and told they shouldn't be in the bathroom they're in. How has the period since that decision been for you in terms of how you felt about it?
So first of all, I'm absolutely furious at the decision. I think that it's unnecessary, and I think that, you know, there's so much going on in the world, and I think I said this on our podcast, that how is this something that's a priority to people? Because it really shouldn't be. We've got so many other things going on, and this is the thing you decide to pick and focus on. Madness to me, and I'm frustrated at how emboldened it's made people to be cruel and nasty and just like, where's the humanity? That's what it feels like. So I'm incredibly frustrated, and you know, I don't want to sort of like put myself in this sort of spotlight with it, but I'm furious. And as a masculine presenting person, it does affect me. In fact, before the decision was made, I used to get sort of like misgendered. It doesn't necessarily bother me, because you know, I've accepted that for some bizarre reason people have to know your gender, which is again weird. I think that you look at someone and be like, oh, what's between your legs? Like this, that's weird. So there's that. I think I probably haven't been out as much, and not because I've made a conscious choice not to. I've just probably been a bit busier than normal since that ruling, because it's pretty recent. But what I do know is that now that's passed, people are more likely to be emboldened to confront me, but also then ask me for proof or evidence. And what am I supposed to do in that situation? Because there's no right answer, is there? Yeah. We're going to get done for indecent exposure, flashing in the bloody toilets. Like, nobody... But I'm trying to make light of that. But ultimately, you're asking...
It's literally the only way you can. I mean, like, even ID, my passport's female. So every bit of identification I got is female. So it's like, how are they going to know? How are they going to know the difference between trans and cis? It's crazy. It's a crazy situation.
It's madness, and there's no way of policing it. And I just think that, you know, all the you know, what do they call it? Voldemort? Is that what people call it? Yeah. That she is sort of proud of this, proud of being on this side of history, or not this side, that side of history, I should say. And I cannot, for the life of me, understand how people do not look around on what side they're on and think, oh, I'm in the wrong place here, because I don't. Do you know what I mean? These people are not good people. And then, sorry. I feel sorry, Will. I've gone off there, but I obviously feel very passionate about it, and it doesn't just affect trans women, it affects all women, and I think that it's now brought into question this, you know, standard of femininity that women are going to be expected to uphold, and I'm not going to do that, because that's not who I am inherently, so,
You don't need to apologise about anything. You've spoken really eloquently there, and I think it's important to show how much anger and frustration and upset there is for so many people as a result of this decision. It's not just a small thing that changes something for a small minority. It does have huge effects, and those effects on all of those people are significant as well. It's not a small thing. In terms of the match, when did you first hear about it, and how did you get involved?
Yeah, so Sasha, it was when I was in my final year here at Cardiff Met, UWIC then, studying. Sasha was a fresher, so I've known her for a long time, but I graduated this sort of like at the end of her first year, so we didn't really keep strongly in touch, but obviously through social media or social media platforms, it helps you stay connected now. And she... I think I'd shared something around the ruling that do you know what I mean, that was very much on the right side of history. And she messaged me being like, I've got a proposition for you that might be you putting your boots back on. And I was like, oh my God, is that Sasha? I was like, I am broken, but what are you talking about here, you know? So she sort of piqued my interest and was like, listen, I'll be upfront with you. Like, I've had way too many concussions to be near any sort of rugby anymore. A bit punch drunk, to be honest. But like, even though I can't play in this, I am a huge advocate for it. I think that Sasha, the conversations I've had with Sasha and in the group and stuff, and what she's shared, just around like the misinformation and disinformation that's being shared, and also the actual science behind it and where they're getting their information from. So she called me and said something about my boots, and I thought, oh God. But yeah, I wanted to support this. I think it's something that, for me as an individual, like I am proud of the morals and the values that I have, and I want that to be known. But I also want it to be known for the people around me, so they understand that it is unacceptable to be saying these things in front of me. So I don't want to hear that. This is who I am, and these are what I believe in. I'm always going to stay on this side. So yeah, that's how I got involved, and then why I'm involved, I guess, is to make sure that people know.
In terms of the support that you've received so far, I would imagine that the Lions are absolutely behind this 100%.
100%, yeah. They currently released a video this morning on socials, which is basically the Ruck You message. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, Steve worked his magic with a couple of videos we sent him with the phone, and it just looks amazing. So that went out today, and obviously Sasha's well on board with putting the videos out there.
Oh, I'm sick of seeing my face on social media, to be honest.
Yeah, because you were on Sasha's podcast, Lisa.
Yes, she did interview me, yeah.
Have you had people reaching out in support since then?
Yeah, there was quite a lot of messages, I guess, from not people who are like close to me in proximity or like very visible in my life, but people I would consider friends, and so that was quite nice to see how far it had reached. And one of my best friend's little sisters, I say little sister, but I mean, like, I'm 36, right? So little is only 4 years younger than us. But she reached out to me, and she just said, like, I've just finished watching it. What a great I can't remember what word she said, right? But I was like, oh, thanks. I was like, I don't want to, I don't want to be a focus point, but I need people to know that this is not okay. And she said, absolutely. And she said something that I thought was really powerful. She said, imagine some young sort of gender questioning person seeing you being okay, do you know what I mean? And like advocating and things like that. And just knowing that they could come to you and it'd be a safe space. I mean, I don't know how it would help, but it would be a safe space to have those, that questioning and that, support and just like safety. So when she said that, I thought, oh my God.
I've had similar things. Obviously, the position of coaching and whatever, and you want to be approachable for these youngsters, and that's the thing. I can remember being one of them youngsters and questioning my gender, and different times you block it out. You deal with that as we spoke on the first podcast, but there's plenty of them out there, and I think that's the message these people don't understand, is just because they say and they're not trans, it doesn't mean they're not. You just don't know what's going on inside people's heads and where they're at and what they're feeling like. We need these safe spaces. We need to be approachable.
For sure. And I mean, hopefully this match can be a little ray of light, a little bit of positivity in what will have been an incredibly difficult month and a half since the decision. So being in the game and being a supporter of it, even though you can't lace up your boots, Lisa, you're doing incredible work, both of you, and so is everyone else that's involved. Just looking at the match itself, in terms of how it's going to go, I guess the tricky thing is everyone on both sides is in agreement that trans women should be allowed to play in women's sport, and that the recent decision is completely wrong from the Supreme Court, and the long-standing decision from the home unions and World Rugby is completely wrong. But you've also got a point to prove on that pitch, Kat, that you could hit any of the women on the other team in a tackle as hard as you possibly can, and that they will be fine. So you can't pull anything back, and as we've talked about before, that's when the risk of injury increases, is when you hold back in rugby. But also, there are people that you have so much in agreement with it, you're not going to want to hit them hard, arguably.
I mean, if you think we've all been there. We've trained. We've trained with our teammates. So the people you hit the hardest are probably your teammates and the people you drink with on a regular basis. So I think that aspect's fine. I mean, my biggest concern is whether it's going to break me. I'm 47 in August, and I'm 10 years retired from my last full season. And I think it's probably about 3 years since I've actually been on the field. It's going to be tough, and there's a video that haven't been launched yet by Sasha, but I literally, as I say it now, this is my toughest challenge I've ever done in rugby. It's huge. It's huge for me going up against these women. They're all fantastic players, top of their game, or been at the top of their game quite recently, and it's just like, I'm 47. What am I doing?
I love it. I think I've had a busy day at work, right? We've been talking about like how we grow and learn and stuff like that. And it was one of those, like, we've talked a lot about being uncomfortable. And it's like finding those bits where you, like, I don't know, you get something special back from it, don't you, from those challenges?
You do, yeah. It's I had a moment, and I know it's the whole ones and things that are kicking in, but I had a moment where I was in the car, and when you're driving, you've got that little time to yourself. There's nobody else there, and I just suddenly started thinking of the gravity of the game, and I thought, and there was tears rolling down my face. I thought, what's this about? Like, this isn't me. But yeah, it's a really big moment, and I've been there with cup finals, leagues, local derbies. Even when we often play when you're bereaved over a player that you've lost, and you always have memorial games and things like that. And I don't think anything has ever touched what this is. It's on another level, and I've had some big moments at a grassroots level, not nowhere near where you've been, but certainly, it's a big challenge and a big moment.
I just think like I think of all the people I'm close to in my life and how much they'll be supporting the opportunity. So like, you as an individual, I can understand there's probably like a pressure, a weight on your shoulders almost, but I just like, you should know that there's lots of people supporting you behind you on this, and you'll be all right. I know it's sevens, so there's a bit more running than what you're used to, maybe. That's
the other challenge. I haven't played sevens since I was 16, I think. So it's a long time since I played that format of the game. So that's the other challenge. If I can keep up, I'd be happy.
Yeah, there's sevens gives a lot of space for people to build up pace before they tackle you or try and run through you, but it also gives a lot of space for you to try and make up if you're trying to chase someone down that's gone through.
You've also got that fear if you step through a gap and you've got the ball and you look at it, you're on your own.
Oh, the panic.
And you're thinking, I can't make that line.
It's when you do it in your own 22 and the try line's up there, you've got to go, oh no.
So what are we doing?
Yeah. Set up a ball,
I think, though, the noise that you will hear when you're on that pitch from everyone that is in a very supportive community at that tournament that knows the gravity of this match, I think hopefully that will spur you and everyone else on the pitch on to just...
Yeah. I mean, if half the people competing turn up, I mean, I think there's something like 700 players out there, maybe.
I think she said there was more than that, did she? I don't know.
I know I've definitely heard the number of 700, and that's massive.
I've heard 45 teams from 10 countries, so that's
class.
Yeah. It's a lot of players, and like I say, even if half of them turn up, that's a lot of noise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a tricky question to answer succinctly, but for each of you, what do you hope that this match could achieve? What's the kind of dream outcome?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. I think, like, for me, I think that it becomes a tool to go back to people with. I think, a lot of the rhetoric is based around sort of not studies that aren't relevant to, what we're talking about and what the challenges are. And a lot of it will be like, well, I hear this, and do you know what I mean? Like, they say it's anecdotal evidence, but it's not even anecdotal. It's passed down from, like, I don't know, Facebook somewhere probably.
It's like the worst Chinese whisper in the world. It just got built, and it's like, where these facts? And I love going back to the people who are being negative. If you go back, well, where's the facts? They can't answer you. They've got no idea, and it's just like there is no facts. That's why you're struggling to find that answer. It's
absolutely, and I think that there's you know, I think there's a little bit of laziness as well around, like, not willing to go and find the facts so that to recognise this, you know, how it's safe or why it's safe, and I think people just need to do better. They just need to do better. We all need to, but the people on that side in particular.
Yeah, it's too convenient, too simple to just say, oh, well, genders are binary, let's keep trans women out of women's sport. Obviously, no one's talking about trans men at this point in sport, but keep trans women out of women's sport, and that's simple, and I can be happy with the fact that I've read something online that supports that, rather than actually going to do the research themselves and speaking to people and understanding how this impacts on people and how it makes people feel.
That's it. I mean, if you look at who's involved with this game, we're all people that's been impacted on this decision that's been made by people who are not involved in this game. They're not involved in the sport, as in the female sport. They made decisions on something that absolutely has no effect on them at all. And I think that's the strongest thing we've got to get out there. These decisions being made about our sport and the way that we compete, and it's like, you know, it's none of your business.
Absolutely.
How we deal with it and how we compete. That's.
And it feels like there's an obsession with this protecting women's sport, and the same people can't name 5 professional female athletes, or don't know what, like, some Facebook troll. Now and again I go back to them on Facebook, right? It's a terrible habit. But this Facebook troll, during the Six Nations campaign, Wales did not have a great campaign, right? And he'd written, how are they being paid the same as the men? And I was like, are you well? Because that is not the case. And he's like, well, I read somewhere. And I was like, so I had to Google what he'd read, and and it was about I think it was something to do with the football. It was, again, I'm not well knowledged in that space, but I do know that the women do not get paid the same as the men in the Welsh game.
Yeah, nowhere near.
So exactly. So then I'm going back to him, and he's like, oh, sorry, I misread. And I was like, yes, you misread, but what you've done there is so many people have just read your first comment and will now take that as gospel, because that is what this like regurgitation of nonsense that is happening.
You see it on Facebook, don't you? You get that first comment, and then you get the supporters of that comment, and before you know it, the whole feed has just run out of space, really, for hate and negativity because of that one little bit of information, and it just spirals, and it's
absolutely
just, yeah.
And it's so bold.
Yeah.
It's so bold for people to do that.
Well, and also, slightly getting sidetracked here, but on the equal pay thing, I think it was Canada was the first country to commit to paying their female international athletes the same as the male ones, and their women's team is better than their men's team in pretty much everything. And maybe for Wales right now, that would be quite a positive thing if the women were at least winning more than the men.
We don't really want to talk about that.
Yeah, no, we'll avoid Welsh rugby for this conversation.
We spoke before we started. We're broken from the ground up at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot needs fixing in that.
That's a whole new podcast.
Yeah. Sorry, that was just me as an Englishman having a little chat to mention Wales and England. So yeah, Kat, in terms of what you hope this game could achieve,
it's to show that we're united. Unity is a big thing that we're trying to prove, and trying to prove we don't need to prove it. We have unity. It's there. It's getting everybody to understand that it's there, and just support our sport and the people that's within it, and support what we want from it. Don't make up your own assumptions of what you think our sport should be. It's us that's playing it. It's us that's involved. It's us that affects. If you feel that strongly about it, turn up a training with us. It's that simple.
I think that visibility of support as well will shock a lot of people, because it's not something you just walk around randomly shouting down the street that these are my views. So I think to see it, and you can't challenge that then, can you? Because it's there in front of them.
It'll be there in history, and hopefully it'll be a benchmark as well. Like, we talk about the science that's non-existent. Let's be honest, it doesn't exist, the science there, but it's something uniform, it's something tangible you can go back to and look at and say, well, yeah, that was done there. And certainly if you look at us, we're at a tournament, there's going to be a weekend's celebrations before this game as well. So when you look at all the aspects of what's going to build up to that game, it's going to be very, very good evidence that hopefully they'll take note of and bring it into some context in deciding these things in the future.
And on the subject of support, as well as people donating to the GoFundMe, sharing the word about the match so more people know about it, can people watch the match when it actually happens? Is it going to be live streamed?
I've been told by the IGR that it's definitely going to get streamed. How that is, I'm not the best for tech anyway, but however it does come out, I'll definitely get that out there via the Instagram. I know Sash will 100% get it everywhere she can. And so the more this is shared to start with, the more access that link is going to come. But I believe it'll be through some sort of YouTube format, and it should be live streamed.
Awesome. Then one of the things that I was quite surprised by, given the conversations I've been having about this match, it feels so urgent, so big, so important. But if you Google the match now, Outsports has an article on it, and then the rest is just people speaking about it on X and on social media and stuff. None of the mainstream media seems to be reporting on it at the moment. Are you disappointed by that, or at this point are you just sort of not surprised?
I'm not surprised, really. Let's be honest, they control what we see anyway. You only got to look at the propaganda that we fed surrounding this subject in the first place. It wouldn't suit the narrative. I think if this becomes a big success, I doubt very much they'll get involved either. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me the way the media is at the moment.
Yeah, I think I have my own frustrations with mainstream media. This is probably, I guess it's one of those, and I'm not sort of saying, don't watch the news. What I am saying is that there are things that are really important to people, and this is a big deal for me, and what it stands for and represents. I would like it to see some sort of positive sort of, snowballing, especially after the Outsport.
Yeah.
Stuff that was shared earlier this week. Earlier this week. Yeah. I think it would be nice to see some positivity. I think we see a lot of negativity in mainstream media, especially. So I think this is going to be a positive story, and I think that it would be great if it could be shared in that light and shared to people who, have such negative opinions about it, and uneducated, probably a bit ignorant, maybe a bit naive even to it. That would help them better understand why we're doing this and why it's important.
Well, I really hope that the game goes well for all of you on the pitch, for all of you out there supporting it. I will definitely be following the live stream and cannot wait to hear how it goes afterwards. Would love to have both of you back on the pod, and hopefully Sasha as well in the aftermath to go through the match and how it went and the support that has come since then, and talk about where we can also go from that point, because this match isn't an end in itself, is it? It's the start of something.
It's definitely the start of hopefully things getting better. I think there'll be a lot more noise about it after the match, after it's gone ahead. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out, really.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a great display of what our sport is about the diversity and the inclusion and the community that rugby brings, and I think it's going to be a really good display of that, and I look forward to the aftermath.
Yes, I'm sure there'll be a lot of interesting conversations. You seem geared up for the fight afterwards there, Lisa. Well, thank you very much, Kat. Thank you, Lisa. Great to have another chat with you, and appreciate you sharing your time with us here. Good luck again, and we'll look forward to speaking to you afterwards.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.